bread today doesn't mean we'll go hungry tomorrow, and we need to guarantee sustained growth and well-being. That's something economists call economic growth. That growth can sometimes seem slow and sometimes halt briefly because progress is never linear, but it's precisely long-term consistent growth that has systematically revolutionized the world and has wrenched thousands of millions of people from poverty. The difference between zero growth and 2% growth in the long term is the difference between stagnation and prosperity. The Argentinian people know a great deal about this issue because we're the only country in the region that hasn't experienced growth in the last 15 years. In legal terms, growth, the condition for growth, is respecting the sanctity of property and the free market. And that means nothing other than ensuring free trade between peers and free cooperation between peers. Without the right to ownership, there can be no savings. And without savings or free trade, there is no investment. If there's no investment, there can be no growth. But it's not in anyone's individual political interest, apparently, to respect these principles, because it is precisely when we expand the state that individual freedoms of citizens are eroded. And we simply seek to protect ephemeral present well-being to earn votes, and that's what our politicians do. Accumulated wealth decreases over time with this way of moving forward. And so what we're seeing now is countries are increasing public expenditure, but that doesn't ultimately create wealth. It rather destroys wealth. With that in mind, politics gains power on two fronts. They get democratic legitimacy and they obtain resources that they can spend. So politics has a double incentive to foster that intergenerational betrayal, because despite the fact that people lose in the future if this course is followed, there's short-term gain. A great man may be that who sows trees whose shade he will never enjoy. The great man might be the one who cuts down the trees that others sowed. But this cannot continue. This is the major trap that all nations are succumbing to. When this process is continued, growth stagnates. When growth stagnates, the demand for redistribution of wealth grows ever louder. So populist policies and the calls for them become stronger and stronger. These policies appeal to envy and resentment. And the ultimate conclusion of this process is vulnerable young people suffocated under the weight of a state that they know is only there to exploit them. Fiscal expansion, monetary expansion, and the expansion of state power is suffocating individuals, and that's all part of a pattern which we're seeing